They're bigger than cities, engines of global industry that power the modern world. From oil refineries that stretch for miles to shipyards the size of small nations, these are the 15 industrial complexes larger than cities. In the vast tapestry of human endeavor, we often marvel at our cities, sprawling metropolises teeming with life. But beyond the familiar skylines lies another kind of settlement, one built not for living, but for making. These are colossal organisms of steel and concrete. Their arteries, pipelines, conveyor belts, their breath, the steam from towering stacks. They are the engines that drive our civilization, operating on a scale that dwarfs even our grandest urban centers, connecting our world in ways most of us can barely comprehend. Our journey begins on the shores of the Persian Gulf in Saudi Arabia. Here, what was once a quiet fishing village has been transformed into something of an entirely different magnitude. This is Jubail Industrial City, a project of such breathtaking scale, the largest of its kind on Earth, covering an area of over 1,000 square kilometers. Not merely factories, interconnected ecosystems with its own deepwater seaport dispatching products to global markets. We remain in Saudi Arabia, but now we must look beneath the sand to a giant of a different kind. It has no skyline. Its immensity is hidden from view, a subterranean titan that has fueled the world for over 70 years. It is not a single entity, but a vast collection of reservoirs stretching for some 250 kilometers. To manage this behemoth requires a sprawling network of wells, processing facilities, and pipelines on the surface. We now travel east to the coast of China, where the Yangtze River meets the sea, a complex in constant, frenetic motion. This is the port of Shanghai, not just a port, a city of trade. A perfectly synchronized ballet of logistics, repeated millions of times a month. Yangshan, reclaimed land far out at sea, connected by a 32-kilometer bridge, with automated cranes and robotic vehicles working day and night. In Suwon, South Korea lies a city dedicated not to steel or oil, but to the invisible world of information. This is Samsung Digital City, a high-tech metropolis where the primary resource is the human mind. Within its 130 buildings, laboratories, design studios, testing facilities, pilot production lines, it is a city within a city. Restaurants, cafes, parks, even a dedicated hospital, a factory that produces ideas at an industrial scale. Deep in the Nevada desert, a new kind of industrial giant is taking shape. This is the Tesla Gigafactory, a single monolithic structure projected to be one of the largest buildings in the world by footprint. Designed to produce batteries and electric vehicles at scale, a machine for building machines. Vertical integration drives down costs and accelerates production, a bold, audacious bet on the future of energy and transport. We return to South Korea, to the coastal city of Ulsan. Heavy industry on a mythological scale, the world's largest shipyard and the largest automobile assembly plant. 5 integrated plants producing over 1.5 million vehicles a year, with its own export port and internal infrastructure. Ulsan is an industrial ecosystem, steel, shipbuilding, and cars concentrated in one immense hub. Our search for industrial giants now takes us to the northern Caspian Sea, to one of the most challenging environments on Earth. To operate here, the entire production facility had to be built on artificial islands of rock and concrete. These islands withstand shifting ice flows and toxic, high-pressure gas. One of the most complex and expensive projects in history, a man-made archipelago in a hostile sea. We travel now far above the Arctic Circle to the Siberian city of Norilsk. Built on permafrost, the city exists to mine, to process nickel, copper, and palladium. A sprawling network that operates through brutal winters, output of global significance for converters, steel, and batteries. A place of immense strategic importance and immense environmental cost. On the west coast of India, in Gujarat, lies an industrial complex of truly staggering capacity. Owned by Reliance Industries, the largest and most complex oil refining hub in the world, processing over 1.2 million barrels per day with its own port and power plant. A masterpiece of chemical engineering, from gasoline and diesel to jet fuel and petrochemical feedstocks. In the sprawling metropolis of Shenzhen, China, we find a complex that blurs the line between factory and city. The Longhua campus, often referred to as a Foxconn city, housing and employing hundreds of thousands at its peak. Within its walls, assembly halls, production lines, dormitories, supermarkets, restaurants, banks, swimming pools. A city built for production. Millions of smartphones, tablets, and computers assembled at staggering speed. We now arrive in Europe, at the mouth of the Rhine River, a gateway for centuries. Europe's largest port complex stretches over 40 kilometers, a deeply integrated industrial zone. A vast engine of trade, processing, and logistics, crude, iron ore, and more arrive and are transformed on site. A model of efficiency, pioneering automation and sustainable practices across a seamless network. In the suburbs of Shanghai, we find another titan, Baosteel, steel, the skeleton of the modern world, produced here on an epic scale. A fully integrated steelworks, from raw iron ore and coal to finished products, with a deep-water port feeding global construction and manufacturing. On the banks of the Dnieper River lies one of Eastern Europe's industrial hearts, a concentrated hub of metallurgy, energy production, and chemicals. Factories, power lines, and infrastructure, interconnected and interdependent. The Dnieper provides cooling water and a transport artery for raw materials and goods. Western Germany's Ruhr, a polycentric urban and industrial sprawl. Once Europe's coal and steel heartland, a dense network that powered an economic miracle. Though mines have closed, the Ruhr remains formidable. Refineries, chemical parks, advanced manufacturing. A region in transformation, industrial heritage repurposed for a new era. For our final destination, we travel to the Gulf Coast of the United States, to the Houston Ship Channel. An 80-kilometer backbone, a sprawling tapestry of refineries, chemical plants, and storage terminals. Here, crude oil and natural gas are transformed into the fuels and building blocks for countless products, plastics, fertilizers, and more. At night, the corridor glows. A 24/7 city of chemical reactions, a monument to the petroleum age. We have journeyed across the globe, from the frozen Arctic to the scorching desert, to witness these hidden giants. They are the colossal foundations upon which our modern world is built. Though largely invisible to our daily lives, their influence is everywhere. The fuel that powers our cars, the steel that frames our buildings, the plastics in our homes, and the silicon chips that connect us. They are intricate, man-made ecosystems, operating on a scale that challenges our perception of what it means to build. Monuments to our ingenuity, and stark reminders of our immense impact on the planet. As we look towards the future, whether these giants can become cleaner, more efficient, and more integrated with the natural world will be one of the most critical stories of our time. They are the engines of the Anthropocene, bigger than cities, more powerful than armies, and more influential than many nations. Behind every product and every city lies a complex that's even bigger.